I know, Jeanette. You've been here nearly your entire life, haven't you? I'm scared. It isn't so much the idea of leaving this house, even. I know I've only slightly been living independently, but soon I'm going to be thrust into living with Dane's parents. Yes, I know they're my family, but hey, it's completely understandable. As long as you bring it to their attention, the things about your routine that work for you, the transition to new living space should be a lot smoother. It isn't even that which worries me. It's the feeling that I'm going backwards, and I'm trying to get used to saying Dane is part of my family, but I don't think it would be appropriate to spend too much time there. If I'm living with his parents, then I can't help but be worried about the likeliness of running into him. You're not afraid you'd redevelop feelings for him? That's not going to happen, nope. The thing is, he makes me uncomfortable. I told you how he was when he temporarily hung around here again while my grandma was sick. Flirting with you, infuriating Rudy, yeah. How does he feel about all this? Confident, of course. On the one hand, he can get so sensitive and jealous of Dane, and then he gets arrogant. And I just love it. I was about to say, you don't really mind his confidence. I just wish sometimes Drake were as confident. He actually gets jealous of his own uncle. I didn't mean it in that way. How embarrassing. He thought I had a crush on Rudy or something. Actually, Lucille, you did seem a little impressed at first. I was actually slightly jealous of you the night I introduced you to. He was flirty. Well, you met Drake first, so we're even, right? There's no competition, Lucille. None here either. I think it just comes down to trust. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you're referring to. Your fears versus Rudy's unshakable confidence. If he really thinks it'll be fine, what choice do you have but to trust him? For that matter, you'll have to trust Dane not to try anything, and for his heart to be true when it comes to Tessa. Oh yeah, that's right. I completely forgot. Well, I didn't mean to forget about her. It's just kind of weird being around her. Although I'm sure it's weird for her too. I thought you two were fine, since she approves now of your relationship with Rudy. But Tessa is still his ex. Well, she's never going to expect you to apologize that you're now dating her ex. You don't have anything to feel guilty about. How do I say this? It's not that. It's knowing she was where I am, but now she is where I was, so... I see. I'll drop the subject. Thank you. I don't get it. I've seen you before. You're going to be embarrassed now? This isn't any more comfortable for me either. But it's not like I thought you'd be bathing or anything. I'm helping you pack. If that's all, you can see I've got my things packed up. There's still no reason you'd have to look for me in the bathroom. I guess your mom didn't tell you. You'll be moving Jeanette's belongings to my house. Mag will be there to assist you. What, you remember my sister, don't you? Is this some joke? I'm proposing this weekend. You better not hurt her, or mess up in any way. I know I give you the same warning, but I've got to thank you for introducing us in the first place. And if I breathed a word to Tessa that you walked in on Jeanette in the bath, tell me how she'd judge the situation. Don't ruin the surprise, or there's more where that came from. Ready for the beach, my love? I didn't hear you. I missed you so much. I forgot about the beach. It's okay, I can help you undo your swimsuit. But I don't know if Dane's gone. Did you see him down there? That's a good point. He might hear us. On second thought, maybe I should wait outside the door as you change. Are we going to pick up Drake and Lucille, or are they riding together? I can just imagine the time passing under my nephew's scrutiny and how shy you'd be about making conversation. Nope, we're meeting at a hotel. So you don't have to be shy about anything. How did you know? Well, you never text about Dane unless it's really getting under your skin. It's fine with me as long as he isn't. Rudy, of course not. It's just, I don't like how he acted like it was fine to walk right in. No apology or anything. In fact, he said, I don't get it. I've seen you before. You're going to be embarrassed now? Are you actually laughing, Rudy? The nerve of him! I know. There's something delightful about me not being the only person infuriated by him, especially since there used to be a time you'd relish that kind of memory for weeks. I can't believe all that happened back then. It's okay, I'm not trying to embarrass you. After everything, look where you are now. We'll work it out, no matter what. I think I've made a mistake. Are you afraid to swim? You never used to have a problem with it. No, it's just you said 3 rooms, didn't you? You wouldn't surprise me with another couple showing up, would you? Who? No, but who are you afraid to see today? It's not specific. Just to get you and Lucille in the same room. I see you still don't entirely trust me. I'm almost used to that by now. I would have liked to apply sunscreen for you, but I see you've beaten me to it. I'll let you clean it off me later. Is that a fair trade? Hey guys, forewarning, the waves will knock you around right now. Where do you think they're headed? To check out their separate rooms together, I'd assume. Well, I want to check the water myself, don't you? After you. What time is it? It's 8:23. There were some texts from Rudy and Jeanette, but it looks like everything's okay. I bet I have a sunburn with the outline of your hug. You look immaculate to me. Your mind is the most astonishing of anybody I've met. Thank you. Are you hungry? I don't even know. I'm terrified. For what reason? Somehow I don't feel like we're safe out here like this. If you have to leave your hotel room for anything, like the vending machine or something, I don't want you to be alone. Can I stick around with you? I won't touch you or do anything. Well, there's the TV. Lucille? We didn't know what happened. It's 4 p.m. and we thought you might have gone off somewhere since Rudy and I couldn't find you, but that didn't really make sense. Could we talk about this in the hall? 1 second, I have to tell Rudy. Not like that. I meant that the 2 of you are both okay. We've been looking for you. Neither of us would judge you either way. I hope you know that. Okay. How have things been for you? So great. I don't want to leave. I don't want to be dropped off at Paula's house. I don't want anything to change. Whenever I bring it up with Rudy, though, he's so cheery, sweet, optimistic. It feels so out of place, and I don't know how to react to it. I think he really only means well, Jeanette. I know. How does everyone feel about checking out, meeting for supper, and wait, where's Drake? He's not up yet. Jeanette, before we leave, I have something for you. You can think of it as almost a housewarming present. We'll catch back up with you guys, okay? So where were you two? We're engaged. He just proposed to me. Wow. He said that he knows I'm scared about moving out and that so many things will change so soon. And that nothing's going to change between us reminded me of how today is the day we met 1 year ago. Violet predicted I'd find someone that very night that I found her. I wasn't ready then to understand how much Jeanette would mean to me, and it took a while for us to begin properly, even if it was like resuming right where we'd left off. Jeanette has seen me in every emotional state, and she's still here. And I've seen Jeanette in every emotional state, and I'm ready to be there for her whenever she needs me. I'm certain I'd never be ready for her leaving. So then he asked if I'd be his Miss DizzGo's Cherry, Miss Rudy Romance King, Miss Rudy Darren. She's moving in with me. I arranged it with Dane and Mag so that he'd be taking all her belongings to my house. I'd hate to make you feel unoriginal, but guess who also just got engaged? Husky and Violet. So does everyone approve now? Unanimous. How about October 4th? It's the day that Jeanette and I first kissed. Interesting. I met Violet on October 4th. 17 years ago. I think that's perfect. Have you and Violet thought of anywhere you want to do this, or? Well, the funny thing about that is, I had to tell her father. I had almost forgotten about that. He's your age, isn't he? He's a few years older, not like that made it any easier. Before I said anything, he said he knew me, asked if I was still seeing his daughter. I bet you had something clever ready, though. You always do. Sorry to disappoint you, son, but even I'm not always immune to nerves. Not knowing what else to say, I said, "Indeed, and it's my greatest wish and intention to see her for the rest of my life." That's not so bad. He laughed for at least 5 minutes, and every time I thought he was done, I was about to continue speaking. He wouldn't let me get even one word in. He's got a terrifying laugh. He eventually wiped his eyes and said, "Who am I to say no? She left a message just this morning with nearly the identical statement, only from her own lips. I know you've not planned that, or you wouldn't even bother seeing me." I was stunned silent, and he went on saying how it's no surprise, really, she'd go for someone like me. He was not able to properly handle what happened between Violet's mother and him, so he shut down. But he said we could have the wedding for free at DizzGo's if we want to. I thought that was a wild idea at first, but now I'm starting to think that sounds pretty cool. I love the idea of a DizzGo's wedding. I thought you would. Thanks for meeting me. I've always wanted to know you. What do you think? I can die now. Don't ever say that again. You got me all wrong. You wouldn't feel so bad if you were helping somebody, right? I could use some help. See, you're not the only person I hurt. You hurt Dad. Where have you been? To the lowest end where nothing I say is ever going to fix what I've done. Hey, but at least I can apologize and hope I'm not too late. I'll help you. I can't live with myself every time I think back to the things I did to her. What are you talking about? Who are you talking about? Violet, I have a letter. If you know at all how to contact her, could you give her this letter I wrote? Of course, I'll help you. Wow, you must be Husky. I'm here to give Violet a letter. Case, hi, would you like anything? I'm okay, I'm just here because of this letter, but I want to talk to you about it. Also, unless you mind. Well, you can have a seat. Do you know what it pertains to, and more importantly, who it's from? I'm afraid I'll have to decline if it's from your father, because... Congratulations. No, it's not from him. Do you know he was paying my mom not to contact you? You're so much better off. I hope you don't mind me asking, but how did you know who I was? There's this salon I frequent, and I almost feel like it wouldn't be fair to consider her a gossip. After all, how would she know I went to school with your grandson and Lucille? Tessa? If you don't mind, how did you know he was paying your mother not to... Wait. Is it from her? Yes. If you need to read it in private, that's understandable. Just please allow me to discuss something with you afterwards. Okay. Are you good friends with Drake? No, but I respect him. I was jealous of him, actually. Have you met Lucille yet? I'm sorry, it's just if my grandson has a girlfriend, which I'm assuming is what you're saying, that's news to me. Good news, but humorous nonetheless. I don't follow. Drake aspired for many years to be just like Rudy, who aspired to be the antithesis of me, and look how that turned out. I've had a lengthy relationship history. Rudy was afraid to turn out like me, and I'm almost positive I've overheard Drake call me Pervy when he thinks I can't hear him. So if Drake allows himself to date, I'm glad to hear that. Rudy had this entire campaign going when he first started DizzGo's. He'd wear these t-shirts about how cool it was to be Cherry. Hey, that's fine. Anyway, Drake isn't too dissimilar from what I know of him. It's not such a bad thing. He's not the type to play the field. You know, if he were, I'd be worried for Lucille. Well, while I would never wish that my children or grandchildren inherit my problems, I was just worried that my problems influence them in a negative way, so it's not a fear that they will remain pure forever, just a fear that they wouldn't allow themselves to try and find love. If you knew what my mom told me about the kinds of things she's done, you might better comprehend wanting to abstain your whole life so as not to ever hurt somebody. I'm aware of some of it, things Violet told me. I just hope one day you'll realize that love requires vulnerability, and non-reciprocation can hurt the one you love, too. You know about my dad then, too, huh? I respect that to a certain point with my dad. He was afraid, and now I see why, although the extreme he went to, let's just say he was so careful it begins to look like he doesn't care at all. Exactly, and yes, that is why I mentioned it. It didn't occur to me that could have been the issue at hand. I thought he's not over your mom, or he's too traumatized, or even that he secretly resents Violet for ending what he thought was a happy marriage. Maybe any of it. I actually secretly resented Violet, but I didn't know anything about my mom. Nobody wanted to tell me. Oh, well, I see how you would then, when you haven't much to go by. I know this is going to be difficult for you, but even if it's just words, she doesn't need to reconnect with you. She just needs to read a response, Violet. That you forgive her. Even if you're lying, please. For the most part, it's forgotten. I forgave her. You don't see me trying to track her down for any reason anyway, do you? Well, write it then. She doesn't know any of that, but she's old. I'm so sorry. She's old? Is she not my own age? I'm serious, and I'm not talking about physical age either. What she's done, everything, it's killing her and it scares me. I can't take looking into her eyes and seeing the kind of torment she has, not because of what people have done to her, but what she's done. Please, Violet, if you let go of it, then forgive her. Here, on the back of that letter. Yes, okay. I'll do it. You truly are a sweet young man. Your parents can be proud of you. She's right. Are you afraid of her? I want you to know that I would never let her get to you. It's not fear, it's just remembering everything. I'm happy Case wanted the letter back because it upset me so much. Did she write anything threatening in her letter to you? It's not that. She was apologizing and going into great detail about the things she did to me, things I'd forgotten about. It just hurts all over again when I think about it. Is there anything I can do for you, my lamb? Don't leave me. I'll do anything for you, my lamb, anything. Just being here with you helps me more than you could possibly know. Hi, Dane. I'm so happy to see you. I thought maybe you'd forgotten about your appointment. You can talk to me, whatever is on your mind, okay? Dane? I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have let you go. I began to feel like I wasn't worthy. You didn't do anything wrong. If you're talking about accidentally seeing Jeanette like that, I already let that go. Well, if you've forgiven me, that's enough. And if you still want to give this a chance, I won't blow it. I already know how cliché this is going to sound, but I've been missing your voice and everything I was beginning to learn about you. And I kept thinking I'm too late. No, you're not too late. I opened the door for you anyway because I would cut your hair anytime. I knew what you meant. No, you're not at all too late. I've missed you. I always hoped this day would come for Rudy, but now I feel prompted to shed light on something that I feel is significant. It isn't thanks to me, nor Violet, that Rudy found love of his life. You see, we were well-intentioned. Not only did Violet try to set Rudy up with women, carefully trying to find someone well-suited for him, I came here one day and... Who remembers my boy's alter ego, DizzGo's Cherry? Well, there are a lot of fans, and I thought eventually one of them will win his heart. I had only heard from Violet that what she had told me about his popularity, and I wanted to see it for myself. Back to what I was saying, so I came here one day and noticed him noticing one of his fans in particular. I approached her outside, insisted I saw a glimmer in his eye when he looked at her. This put a glimmer in her own eyes, and I asked her to go out with him, at least for one date. To call me later about it, just to know if it went well. It did not. The girl called me up, and she was not the romantic I thought she was. She'd gotten him drunk, and now she wanted me to pick him up, take him back home. She swore they hadn't done anything, but she was embarrassed and annoyed. She'd put him in her car, so his car was left at the cafe. I called Violet, explaining to her on the way we'd switch cars and I'd drive Rudy's car back to his house. She'd drive my car back to my house. While we'd both agreed I shouldn't be the one to set him up with girls from that point on, neither of us realized then that we were wrong to force it at all. Maybe it's not ironic that the moment after she gave up on finding his match, Rudy found her himself. I'm proud of you two. I wish you endless romance. That thing he said about not forcing it, he's not only right, but it brings to mind another story involving this place, and that same aforementioned alter ego, DizzGo's Cherry. We used to go here all the time when we were in high school. We'd drink cream soda, we'd skate too long, and we were dying for something cold. That changed a few years later, not because Rudy got a job here, or because he'd become something of a celebrity here. It's due to something that happened to a cream soda during a bet which was made here. I met with him during winter break and had no clue that Rudy had become popular overnight. The funny thing was, he wanted to claim it wasn't about him or even his shirts. He believed there was a magic in wearing shirts that boasted anything, and that women love a man who's sure of himself, not stuck up, just knowing who he is. To prove it, he asked me to try and get women to skate with me without buying one of his shirts. The deal was, if I succeeded in having a girl skate with me in 1 hour, in the shirt I'd arrived in, he'd have to drink cream soda that had a gummy worm soaking in it for an entire hour. 1 gummy worm for each woman who wouldn't skate with me. If I lost, I'd have to drink it, but he'd give me one of his cherry shirts for free to see if I could get a girl to skate with me. Notice how I said earlier that our ritual of drinking cream soda changed? Well, if you know anything about Rudy, that didn't change for him. He drinks it with popcorn at a movie. He drinks it with pizza. He drinks it with cake. I'm sure he'd even request it at a fancy restaurant when they don't even have it. He'd settle for root beer. Not me, because I lost, and it was gross, and Rudy laughed the entire time watching me guzzle it down. I wore that shirt hoping this time to prove him wrong, but I didn't. He was right for another reason, too. With the mindset of winning, I was forcing the idea of getting a woman to skate with me. Women aren't points to collect, and I'm sorry about our rivalry, but I see now that what it comes down to is that you're the guy who is going to understand where she's coming from because you understand yourself and can focus entirely on the two of you and not what everybody else thinks. But you know what? You want her without having to wear one of those shirts because it trained you to wear your heart on your sleeve. She never has to question anything. I know you're probably thinking, where are the threats to my safety if I ever break Jeanette's heart? The answer is, what threat? There's no questioning you adore her. It took a lot of getting used to for me, but now I'm just truly happy for you. Hey, Dad. Rudy, I hope I didn't embarrass you up there. Violet thinks I went a little too far. That's okay. I always wondered how I got home. That always bothered me. Now the truth has been unveiled. That's one way to see it. Jeanette, I can't believe we forgot about talking about the honeymoon. We have time to figure it out. Do you have anything in mind? Just me and you, our house, no planning anything out. Freedom to go wild with you. You can do anything you want with me. Was that my dad's car just pulling into some old broken down museum? Maybe they're just turning around. Or maybe that's how they're spending their honeymoon. All couples have their own rituals. As long as there are no unforeseen consequences, I'm happy for them. They can do whatever they want. I didn't mean like that. I meant police. In all honesty, it might be cool to have a little brother or sister. I almost felt like that with Drake, but I mean like someone even closer related. Or we can have a child of our own. No pressure. Whenever you're ready. No rush. We still have time, my love. Now that you've helped me, son, how do you feel about life? More alive than ever, honestly. I knew you would. I want to understand people more and help them out of that darkness. Yeah, there's a job for that, but I'm not going to insist. Actually, I never thought I'd say this, but I'm seriously considering it. I'm ready to support you in any way I can, and I know your dad will be thrilled. Are you on speaking terms? Well, I wouldn't say we're friends, or that we could ever be friends with each other, but you're the best thing we have in common. I love you, Mom. I love you too, Case. I never thought I'd hear those words again spoken for me.